Very good morning to all of you. Hope all of you are doing well. Let me start the very important chapter, that is input tax credit. Section 16, which talks about the eligibility and the condition for taking the ITC. What is the section 16? Section 16 is being divided in 16.1, which talks about basic point that it should be in your course or furtherance of business. 16.2, which talks about 6 condition. 16.3, which talk about additional point. 4, which talks about time limit, and 6, which talks about some new benefit which we will discuss. That is all together. Then we will discuss the rule. Before starting the chapter, I like to ask one question from each one of you, and please give in the chat, not unmute and tell me. There are total 6 conditions in the 16.2. Can you tell me some of the condition to the extent you can recall? ITC लेने की क्या condition है as per 16.2? Can you tell me in short? What is the condition for taking the input tax credit? And please give the reply in the everyone, selecting the everyone name, not my name. (16) subsection 1, can you please tell me the condition for taking the ITC? 16 subsection 2, there are few conditions. Sanjay has given the reply. Correct. So all the 3 conditions are Sanjay okay. Invoice has to be there. Samyanathan K okay. Correct. Now, fine. Whatever the condition you told, you given the reply, that is correct. No problem. I'm just asking, 3B has been furnished. There is one condition in the clause D. Can anybody tell me this 3B is of the supplier or is of the recipient? 16.2 is talking about the 3B should be furnished. My question to all of you, whether it is supplier or the recipient. Yogesh is saying supplier, Sanjay is saying recipient, Samyanathan is saying recipient. Anyone else? Correct. This is liability. So Yogesh is saying that therefore the supplier 3B has to be furnished. No problem. Let me start the topic. 16 subsection 1, we'll discuss this point when I will reach to the clause D. Ankit is also saying 3B of the supplier. We will understand. We will understand this point. Okay. Now, what is the eligibility and the condition for taking the input tax credit? It says it should be in the course or furtherance of business. Every registered person shall subject to such condition and restriction as may be prescribed. So we will discuss some rules for that. What are the condition and what is the restrictions? As may be prescribed and in the manner specified in section 49, entitled to take ITC, which are used or intended to be used in the course or furtherance of business, and the said amount shall be credited to the electronic credit ledger. Shed amount shall be credited to the electronic credit ledger. Now we are moving to the 16th subsection 2, which talks about important condition. Always note that 16th subsection 2 is starting with a notwithstanding overriding provision. It says that whatever it is written in this section, no registered person shall be entitled to take the credit of input tax in respect of any goods or services or both to him unless clause A, he is in possession of the tax invoice or debit note issued by the supplier registered under this act, or such other tax paying document as may be prescribed. Where it is being prescribed, for which we will discuss rule 36. Okay. Now tell me, he should be in the possession of the tax invoice. I am asking very simple question, whether he means recipient or supplier. जस्ट एक बार मुझे आप आंसर कर दीजिए, यहां पे किसके पास में टैक्स इनवॉइस होना चाहिए, रिसिपिएंट या सप्लायर? ओके, सो देयर इज नो डाउट दैट द वर्ड ही मीन्स recipient. No problem. We'll come to the clause double in some time. Going to the clause B, he has received the goods or services or both. Who should receive? What does it mean? He means recipient or supplier? Who should receive the goods or services? What is the meaning of he? What is the meaning of he? He means recipient or supplier? He means recipient or supplier? All have given the reply. Fine. He has furnished the GSTR 3B. Now, in this clause A, clause B, clause D, whenever they are writing the word he, what does it mean? He means recipient. He means recipient. तो यहाँ पर ये 3B किसकी बात कर रहा है? He की बात कर रहा है. It means they are talking about the recipient. So 3B has to be furnished by the recipient. Now coming to the Yogesh question. That if the tax is paid, then the 3B has to be furnished by the supplier. Your point is correct, Yogesh. For that, they have inserted new condition in the rule 37A. Supplier 3B has to be furnished. You are very correct, because he will pay, mostly he will pay the tax by the 3B. But that supplier 3B is being considered or is being discussed in the rule 37A, which we will discuss in the ITC chapter. Point to be noted, he has furnished the GSTR 3B. He means in the clause D, they are talking about the recipient GSTR 3B. And let me tell you one more point. Once you file your 3B, then only the amount will be credited to the electronic credit ledger. You tell me, when the amount will be credited to the electronic credit ledger? Sir, when we furnish the GSTR 3B, then only it will be credited. Am I right now? Therefore, read the condition, shall be credited to the electronic credit ledger. If 16.2 does not specify the recipient has to file 3B, then how this condition is to be satisfied? How amount can be credited to the electronic credit ledger? Therefore, the clause B is talking about recipient. Everything is clear? Everyone is clear that in the clause D we are talking about recipient 3B, not the supplier 3B. Okay? Now you may talk about supplier has actually paid the taxes. That is clause C condition. tax paid, tax charged has been actually paid to the government. Now in the clause C, they have not used the by which form. They have not used by which form. They are simply saying, yes, it has to be furnished. Clause C is simply saying it has to be furnished. By which form? No. The taxage has to be paid. Whatever the tax is charged, it has to be paid to the government either cash or utilizing the ITC. So taxes pay karna hai. It is written in the clause C, plus does not specify any form. Clause D specify the form and it has to be furnished by the recipient. Okay. Now we are talking about clause. We have discussed clause A, now double A. Details of invoice or debit note. Which invoice? Which debit note? Referred to in the clause A. Okay. Has been furnished by the supplier in the statement of outward supplies. Can you tell me the form number? Statement of outward supplies. Statement of outward supply. It is R1. And such details have been communicated to the recipient in the manner specified in the section 37. Now, section 37, which talks about the manner. So, whenever the supplier file the GST R1, it will be communicated to the recipient in which form? It will be communicated to the recipient in which form? Answer is GSTR to be. Can it be 2A? Why can't it? Why can't 2A? So it is going to 2A also. Can anybody tell me why you are saying 2B? Why not 2A? Why not 2A? The reason is when I read the rule 36 sub rule 4, when I read the rule 36 sub rule 4, prior to 1st January 22, prior to, they are talking about the reference of 2A. But after this date, when the clause AA was made effective, when the clause AA was made effective, then the rule 36.4 has given the reference, has substituted and given the reference of 2B. Meaning thereby, are they talking about 2A or are they talking about 2B? It will get clarified by reading the rule 36.4. Answer is GSTR 2B. Because by this section, it is not clear that are they talking about 2A or are they talking about 2B? Because it simply says communicated to the recipient. Communication can be done in 2A or can be done in 2B. It is being communicated in both. Absolutely, Sanjay. 2A is the dynamic, 2B is the static. It is not 2A. Then why 2A? Saminath, I am saying when I will read this section along with rule 36.4, then rule 36.4 is talking about 2B and therefore the communication should be in the 2B for entitlement of ITC. Is it clear? Any counter question you can ask. Two-way, mostly it is being redundant. Mostly it is being redundant. Now, because it is in the law, therefore it is available to the taxpayer. Might be in the future they may remove the two-way. Now, so the Samyanathan purpose of 2A, now the purpose of 2A is nothing. Earlier in the GSTR 9, they were talking about the 2A, but again that has been replaced to be ITC It has to be 2A earlier. Now it is 2B. So actually the 2A does not have any purpose. Actually the 2A does not have any purpose. Any purpose. Simply it tells that whatever the invoices has been furnished by the supplier, it is work like 2A, 2B is same, except the 2A is the dynamic, 2B is the static. So therefore, Saminathan, it is no use as per the law. It is no use as per the law, but because it is in the rule 60, therefore it is still available in the GST portal. Clear? Now, he is in possession of tax invoice or debit note or such other tax paying document as may be prescribed. Now, such other tax paying document, can you tell me one or two name apart from tax invoice or debit note by which the recipient is taking the ITC? For normally, I do agree that tax invoice and debit note. I am asking to you, can you tell me any one or any other name as well? Any other name as well? Bibu Pandey, please select everyone name while giving you the reply. While giving the reply to me, sir, I have the doubt if the ITC is blocked to supplier. Will it also be blocked for recipient? No. No. Answer is no. You have given the perfect example. Suppose you are a supplier and I am a recipient. So suppose if the ITC is blocked to you, so you cannot take the ITC of the inward supply, but you can pass to me. I am entitled to take ITC. I am entitled to take ITC. You have taken the perfect example, Bibu, and answer is no. But
Okay.
will the bill of supply contain the tax? Will the bill of supply contain the tax? Everyone requesting. Yogesh, Chitra, Sanjay, Ankit, tell me any other tax paying document apart from invoice and debit note. It could be bill of entry. Okay, Saminathan, you might be saying the bill of entry probably, na? Saminathan, you were saying the bill of entry. I got your point. Na? Bill of supply probably it is wrongly written, no problem. But bill of entry. This bill of entry will be furnished in case of, when it will be furnished in case of
Export, sir.
import. Import of goods, right? When
Yeah, it's import, sir.
right, no problem. When the goods will be reached to the custom territory and you will file the bill of entry, then only the goods will be get cleared. And at the time the bill of entry, you are paying the IGST. And that IGST you are entitled to claim. Will that be any tax invoice? No. The bill of entry is the proof for payment of IGST at the time of import. Okay. So you are entitled to take ITC. Now there will be some more document, but that we will read in the rule 36, sub rule 1. The details of ITC in respect of the said supply communicated to such registered person has not been restricted. Now, the details of the ITC which has been communicated to the registered person under section 38, that is GSTR 2B, it should not be restricted. Now, when it can be restricted, let me allow some time. Let me reach to the section 38, then we will discuss in detail. But there could be the circumstances even though the amount is appearing in the GSTR to be, but you are not entitled to take input tax credit when they will prescribe some of the conditions. Subject to the provision of section 41, tax charge in respect of the supply. Nahi, Saminathan, they are not talking about the block credit. Here they are not talking about the block credit. Has not been restricted. We have to understand this provision, section 38, subsection 2. When we will reach, then I will again correlate. But please note, this is not section 17, subsection 5. It is not the block credit like purchase the motor car. No. Clause C, the taxes has been paid by the supplier to the government. Now, he has received the goods or services or both. Tell me one thing. Can you see clause C? You tell. You know the bill to ship to model. Do you all know the bill to ship to model? Just confirm. Sanjay, Yogesh, Ankit, okay. Saminathan, Chitra, okay, fine. Mr. A is from Delhi, has made the sale to Mr. B from Mumbai. Mr. B has sold the goods to Mr. C, let's say he's in Noida, UP. Invoice will be raised by A to B, invoice number 1. Another invoice will be raised by B to C, invoice number 2. Whether B, the tax charged by A to B on the invoice number 1, whether B will actually receive the goods physically, क्या B को कभी goods मिलेगा? Whether B actually physically receive the goods? Answer is no. Then can we say that he cannot satisfy the clause B? Can we say that he cannot satisfy the clause B? Can we say that he cannot satisfy the clause B? Now they have added the explanation. It says that physically, actually, Mr. B will never receive the goods, but it will be deemed. It means they have created the deeming provision that registered person has received the goods or services. As the case, goods has received the goods when the goods are delivered by the supplier, let's say A, to a recipient or any other person on the direction of such registered person. Such registered person means B, whether acting as an agent or otherwise before or during the moment, either by with the transfer of the document of the title, then such registered person shall be deemed that who registered person has received the goods. Because they have created the explanation 1, by which we can say that B, physically he will not receive the goods, but because of the deeming provision, he will be deemed that he has received the goods. Is it clear? That bill to ship to model, whether B is satisfying the clause B, answer is yes. Not physically he will receive the goods, but because of the explanation clause 1, it will be deemed that B has received the goods. Correct. Is it possible? Tell me, is it possible that bill to ship to model is for services as well? Now, will it be possible that bill to ship to model is for services? Tell me, will it be possible to bill to ship to model for services? क्या ये पॉसिबल है कि बिल टू शिप टू मॉडल गुड्स के जगह सर्विसेज में भी हो? Answer is yes. Why yes? Now see, A is the, let's say, manufacturing company of air condition. Manufacturing condition of A. Manufacturing condition, A is the manufacturing company of air condition. Now, or let's say he's a Dell, laptop repair, laptop manufacturing company. Change कर रहा हूं मैं थोड़ा सा example. There are three party A, B and let's say Yogesh. Yogesh has purchased the laptop from Mr. B. So B has issued the tax invoice. Correct. Now he has purchased and A has sold this laptop to B. So A has issued the tax invoice to B. B has issued the tax invoice to Yogesh. This is good. Leave for the timing. Now we are talking about services. Now Yogesh ka laptop is not working and it is under warranty. So it will be repaired by the Mr. B. They have hired one service party. They have hired one service provider. They will raise the tax invoice to B. Assume they have hired from market. They have hired from market service provider. They will raise the tax invoice to B. But will the service be given to B? Will the service be given to B? No. He will directly go to the Yogesh home, then the repair Yogesh office, then the repair, and then raise the tax invoice to B. In this case, whether B has actually received the service? No. Service has been received by Yogesh. Therefore, from 1/4/2009, 1st Feb 2019, 1st Feb 2019, they have amended the explanation and the new explanation was inserted long back. Why? Because bill to ship to model is possible for services also by the supplier, to any person, here Yogesh, on the direction of and on account of the such registered person, that is Mr. B. So B will be assumed that he has received the services also, and therefore they have added the word for this explanation. They have added the word services as well. Is it clear? Now this, thank you. Proviso, there are total 3 proviso which we will talk about. First proviso says if the goods has been received in the lot, then ITC can be taken only upon the last lot. If the goods has been received in the lot, then ITC has to be taken on the last lot. I'll tell you one more point. Either I or whenever the place of the supply chapter will comes now. Place of the supply. Let me go back to the concept of bill to ship to model, and only I like to highlight important point. The place of the supply for goods and place of the supply for services. There is always confusion key or there is a supportive argument. Which point? There can be the bill to ship to model for goods, but there cannot be the bill to ship to model for services. There is a whomsoever is doing the argument, they are supporting with one more point, one more important point. What is that point? The section 10, subsection 1, clause B is specifically for the bill to ship to model for goods. But in the services, there is no specific provision. and therefore bill to ship to model for services is not possible. That is the argument I'm saying, but that is not correct argument. Why? Because the structure of the place of the supply for services is drafted in some other manner. There's a concept of residuary general clause. Correct. So that we will discuss in the place of the supply chapter, but I'm only saying one point. Key, just by this argument, you will not conclude that the build to ship to model is not possible for services. It is possible, and that is the reason they have done the amendment in the explanation. It is possible, and that is the reason they have done the amendment in the explanation. Build to ship to model, you will compare with the place of the supply provision. That is my suggestion to you for have the better control in the argument on the build to ship to model for services. Say example, lot 1 set in the 2024, lot 2, that is final lot sent in the Feb 2025, then ITC only be allowed in the Feb 25. We have to wait for 1 year. So there could be the C. When we will do the invoice accounts and records chapter. When we will do the invoice accounts and records chapter, then you will understand that on the lot for sending the goods, it will be the delivery challan. And because it will be on the delivery challan, you cannot take the ITC. There has to be the tax invoice. Correct? But if you some other tax, you may say, you may differently say in the manner. So that is the law, which we can't do anything. Correct? In that case, what is advisable? You might say to your client that to the extent of the lot is being received, raise the tax invoice to that extent. You can do the better tax planning, right? That is the role of chartered accountant. If it is being received in the lot, then only you are entitled to take ITC on the last lot. I'm giving you one more example where your planning would come. Let's say invoice was of March 24. First lot is being received in the March 24. Second lot is being received in the December 24. Would you be entitled to take ITC on December 24? Would you be entitled to take ITC for invoice having the date of the March 24? Would you be entitled to take the ITC in the December 24? आपके पास इनवॉइस मार्च 24 का है और लास्ट लॉट आपको दिसंबर 24 में आया, would you be entitled to take ITC? Answer is no. Answer is no. Why no, sir? Answer is no. Why no? Or answer is yes. Why yes? Saminathan, Chitra, and everyone, please support your answer. If you can have the 1 or 2 line, Yogesh, Bibu Pandey, you are not doing the interaction. Everything is okay. Are you able to understand the discussion?
Yes, sir.
So interaction karo beta. So interaction is the only point by which we do the make the class more interesting. Otherwise, because we do not see the each other, it is not the physical classes, that is the limitation. तो ट्राई करो कि जितना मैक्सिमम आप रिप्लाई कर सको चैट में उतना करो बेटा. Because the ITC of March 24, we will read 16.4, and by which we can say 30th November is the last date. Saminathan, we cannot see one provision in isolation. We cannot say one provision is isolation. 16.1 is saying now that there has to be the condition and the restriction as may be prescribed. So we have to follow that condition, Saminathan. Do you agree that we have to follow the condition and restriction, whatever it is being prescribed? apart from 16.2, we have to see if there is any other condition. So therefore, I can say when I will reach to the 16.4, it says that you can take the ITC till 30th November. We will discuss in detail. But it means if the last lot is being received after 30th November, you would not be entitled to take ITC on the entire lot. Absolutely correct. Very nice, Saminathan. So therefore, if this is the situation, like your example, if the one lot is being received in the first year, second lot is being received in the next year, what to do? You can split your invoice now. You can request to your supplier that raise the tax invoice to the extent of you send the goods. Section 31 giving the permission that invoice can be raised on or before. See, there could be the two cases. First case, he may raise the invoice in the March itself. If this is the case, then you will lose the ITC. But what the point which you return, he will raise the invoice in November 24, you will not lose the ITC because he will raise the invoice in the November 24 or December 24 by keeping the date of that month. अगर इनवॉइस नवंबर के बाद आ रहा है, नवंबर के बाद की डेट का, तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. बट पॉसिबल है कि इनवॉइस सारे अमाउंट का पहले रेज कर दिया और बिट्स एंड पीसेस में माल भेज रहा है. In that case, you may lose the invoice if it is after November. If the goods are being received after November. Point clear hai? Let me summarize the discussion. Last lot पर आपको ITC मिलेगा. There could be the two pattern of tax invoice. The supplier may issue the tax invoice at the time of when he's sending the goods, first goods, or he may issue the invoice at the last lot. ठीक है. If he's sending the invoice, full invoice in the initial month, then in that case, last lot has to be received prior to 30th November so that you will be entitled to take ITC. Otherwise, you may lose the ITC. Second point, there may be the possibility कि invoice, he's making the invoice only after the November, only when you receive the last lot, then there is no problem of ITC. Can he do so? Answer is yes, but we will read the section 31, rule 55. Section 31 and rule 55. So I'm not going into that argument, but always remember that 30th November wala point in your mind. Yogesh and everyone, Saminathan, Ankit, Chitra, is it clear? Why lot system? See, some industries are doing so now. Some industries are doing so. See, we cannot make the law for, means we have to accept, or the lawmaker also have to accept some of the conditions. So probably it was there in the VAT, in some of the VAT law. So they have bring that condition. कोई existing practice that has to be accepted, correct now? Like why they have inserted the bill to ship to model, because it is a prevailing practice of the industry. Now it says that 180 days. Before reading the provision, you tell me. 180 days, the payment has to be made. Please answer some of the question. Please answer some of the question. A is a supplier, B is a recipient. The value of the invoice, 1000 is the taxable value. Let's say 120 is the tax, 180 is the tax. Now the total is 1180. The proviso which talks about the payment, are they talking about payment by B to A or A to government? Are they talking about the payment made by B to A, or are they talking about payment made by A to B, A to government? Oh, so everyone is clear. They are talking about B to A. Now tell me, Are they talking about the payment of 1000? Are they talking about the payment of only 180? Or they are talking about the total 1180? Are they talking about 1000, 180, or total amount 1180? Entire 1180. Within how many days? Within how many days? 180 days. This clause is not applicable. This proviso is not applicable if in some of the situation if it is not applicable. Can you tell me any one or two? First is not applicable. First is absolutely correct. RCM, reverse charge. Any other point? Any other any other point which you like to add? RCM it is not applicable. Fully agree. What about others? Okay. If the let's say 60% payment is made, will he be entitled to take the ITC of 60%? If the part payment is made, will he be entitled to take the ITC of 60%, or he will be entitled to take the ITC of 100%, or he will not be entitled at all? अगर पार्ट पेमेंट किया है तो आईटीसी मिलेगा पार्ट पेमेंट तक का, या कुछ भी नहीं मिलेगा? Now let's read the proviso. When the recipient paid to pay to the supplier other than RCM amount about the value along with taxes. Value of the supply, taxable value will 1000, tax was 180, so they are talking about the amount including taxes, so they are talking about 1180. Within a period of 180 days from the date of invoice by the supplier on amount equal to the ITC, an amount equal to the ITC availed by the recipient shall be paid by him along with interest in such manner as may be prescribed. Now, assume the date of invoice was 11/24, 25. Recipient has taken the ITC when all the conditions are satisfied. Let's say he has taken the ITC in the GSTR 3B of March, which is being furnished on 20th April 2025. Now, 6 month, 180 days from this date. I'm not adding the days, one or two plus minus it can be. I'm saying that the 6 month will be completed on 20th October 2025, and 6 months from this date will be completed on, let's say, 1st January, 1st July 25. Again मैं कह रहा हूं, I am not adding, see this is 180 days, so actually I have to count like 31 days from for January, 28 days for February, 31 days for March, etc. Like I have to calculate in that manner, but that calculation you can done. I'm just doing the rounding it off for asking one important point, because proviso is very important, and I have seen one question in this last year final examination, last final examinations. So now you tell me the, and let's say he has done the actual reversal on 20th November 2025. First point, 180 days reversal would be counted from this date or from this date. 180 days ka reversal would be counted from this date or this date. from when you have taken the ITC, it is not relevant at all. It is not relevant at all from the actual date. So if you see that he might has to reverse within 2.5 months, 2 month couple of days, मतलब उससे तो सिर्फ 2 महीने बाद ही रिवर्सल करना पड़ेगा, because the 180 days का counting will be from the date of invoice, but the ITC reversal will be along with interest. For calculation of interest, you will count the day when you have taken the input tax credit. You will count from the day when you taken the ITC in your electronic credit ledger and till the date of reversal. So the interest would be applicable, might be for less number of days. Interest ka rate is 18% and number of the days is important. Please note, number of the days is important, which is being asked in the last attempt. They've given one detailed question out of which interest part will be calculated. That will be not from the date of invoice. That will be from the date when the amount is being credited in the credit ledger, and it will be applicable for 180 days. No, never. It will be applicable till the date of actual reversal of input tax credit. Is that clear? Everyone is clear? यहां पर मैं अगेन रिपीट करता हूं, 2 पॉइंट इंपॉर्टेंट है. 180 डेज का काउंटिंग विल बी फ्रॉम डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस ऑफ सप्लायर, but interest will be paid for how many days? It will be depend upon when you actually claim the ITC, assuming that it has been utilized also. Now the last provided also that recipient shall be entitled to avail the ITC on payment made by him to the supplier toward the value of the goods or services along with the tax payable there. ठीक है. Now subsection 3 says that you cannot take double advantage. Double advantage means an asset which is of the value of, let's say, 5 lakh, and rounding it off, I'm saying the tax is, let's say, 25,000. Then total is 5 lakh 25,000. You would be entitled to take ITC. There is no problem. Assuming that it is not barred, it is not blocked, every condition has been satisfied. You can take the ITC, but in that case, 16 subsection 3 says that you cannot take the depreciation. This is normal point. I do agree that if you have taken the ITC, then you will capitalize only this 5 lakh. If you have taken the ITC of the 25,000, then obviously you will capitalize and take the depreciation on 5 lakh. But on the safer side, it is barred in the law also. Might be some of the person can use the or can take the double benefit on this 25,000 amount. How it can be double benefit? First ITC, then taking the depreciation on entire amount. Some of the person says that ITC on any capital goods is not allowed. ITC on any capital goods is not allowed as per subsection 3. As per subsection 3. Is the statement correct? The person are saying 16.3 creating the bar on ITC for every capital goods. Is the statement correct? Answer is no, not correct. No, not correct. Capital goods is not correct. Huh. When it will be correct, ITC on any capital goods, I have to add something. What I will add? On which depreciation has been claimed on full value. On which depreciation has been claimed on full value. Then I can say statement is correct. But please note, 16 subsection 3 is not creating that you can't, not creating the bar or restriction that you can't take the ITC on the capital goods. You can take the ITC on the capital goods depending upon on which value you have taken the depreciation. That is the only point. Clear? Yogesh is asking, what about the part payment? Do we need to reverse? No, not full reversal. Just we'll discuss in some minute. Let me reach to the rule 37. Rule 37 is also creating some of the important point like schedule 1. Correct? So that we will discuss in some minute. Okay. Just wait for some minute. The answer is yes. You can take the ITC on the part payment. Is it clear? So now let's take a break of 10 minutes. Let's take a break of 10 minutes. We will resume at 8 o'clock. ठीक है अशोक जी बस 10 मिनट person shall not be entitled to take ITC in respect of invoice or debit note for goods or services or both after 30th day of November following the end of the financial year to which such invoice or debit note pertain, or furnishing of annual return, whichever is earlier. Here they are talking about two dates. First is 30th November of next year, and second is due date of GSTR 9. Yeah, I'm asking the question. Filing date of GSTR 9. Which date is being written in the 16.4? Whether due date is being written or filing date is being written. Read. Most of the time there is a confusion. Let's say I am the supplier, I am the recipient, I have furnished my GSTR 9 of 24-25, let's say 31st October 2025, and my due date is 31st December and last date 30th November. So which two date I will compare for the purpose of 16.4 and calculate the last date to take the ITC? Will I consider 31st October? Will I consider 31st December? Read. Or furnishing the annual return. Furnishing the annual return, it means they are talking about actual date of the filing of R9. They are not talking about the due date of R9. Is that clear? अंकित ठीक है ना? Very simple. ठीक है. Now, very beneficial clause which is inserted in the law, that is subsection 6, where registration is cancelled and subsequently it revoked, then availment of the ITC in respect of an invoice or the debit note was not restricted under 16.4 on the date of the order of cancellation, then this person will be entitled to take the ITC in respect of the invoice or debit note under section 39 filed up to 30th day of the November following the financial year to which such invoice pertain, or for the period from the date of the cancellation or the effective date of cancellation till the date of order of revocation where such return is filed within 30 days from the date of the order. Whichever is earlier, no, whichever is later. Let's read and understand. Mr. A is a recipient, his registration got cancelled and revoked again. Is cancelled under section 29 and subsequently revoked. Can anybody tell me what is the time limit to revoke? How many days are there to revoke the registration, to revoke the cancellation of registration? कितना दिन है? No, it's not 30 days. It's not 30 days. How many days are there? It's 90 days plus 180 days. Total 270 days. Just read the provision once again. That is not 30. That is 90 days plus 180 days. Earlier it was 30 plus 30 plus 30. Total 90 days was there. Means 30 by the proper officer, 30 by the commissioner. Like that, the total was 90 days. Now the total was 270 days. Earlier it was 90, now it is 270. It says that when the registration is cancelled and subsequently revoked, either under section 30 or pursuant to the order of authority, appellate authority, first appeal or tribunal or court. ठीक है? And where the availment of the ITC in respect of an invoice or debit note was not restricted on 16/4 on the date of the order of cancellation. Let's now ITC was of 24/25. Cancellation was on 31st October 25. Whether he would be make say 30th 31st August 25. Will he would be entitled to take the ITC of the 24/25 even after the date of the cancellation? He can take the ITC till 30th November. He can take the ITC till 30th November, right? Now says that on this date the registration got cancelled by order of any proper officer. Said person entitled to take the ITC in respect of the invoice or debit note in a written under section 39 filed up to 30th day of the November following the end of the financial year, obviously cannot furnish because his registration is cancelled. Now the next clause is important. For the period from the date of cancellation, 31st August, or the effective date of cancellation, till the date of order of revocation, let's say revocation order has been issued on 1st Feb 2026. What was the date of cancellation? 31st August 2025. Cancellation. And it is the revocation. It says that till the date of the order of cancellation, इस period की बात कर रहा है, where such return is filed within 30 days from 1st February, so I can say 1st March, whatever the return is being furnished, 30 days from the date of the order of cancellation. So he can take the ITC of 24/25 even after the expiry of November, even after the expiry of 16/4 का time limit. But when in case of the revocation, then the date of the order of cancellation to the date of the revocation, whatever the ITC is there, whatever the period originally when his registration was cancelled, he was still entitled to take ITC. Correct? Then he would be able to take ITC of that missing invoices within 30 days. Even after 16/4 ka time limit is expired because they've used the word later. Read the again. For the period from the date of the cancellation till the date of the revocation, where such return is filed within 30 days from the order of revocation. Let's move to some discussion, analysis. time limit for taking the ITC in case of the revocation of cancelled registration. In case where the registration is cancelled and subsequently it is revoked, return for the period from the date of the cancellation till the date of revocation cannot be filed on the portal by the taxpayer till their cancellation is revoked. In such case, where the recipient does not claim the ITC in respect of invoice or debit note pertaining to that financial year and the time limit stipulated in 16.4 has been lapsed. In my example, because the revocation was on 1st Feb, so the time limit for 24-25 has been expired. Consequently, relaxation has been given and the time limit to avail the ITC in respect of invoice or debit note is extended till the date of the filing of the return in case where the return for the period from the date of the cancellation till the date of the revocation is furnished within 30 days. Subject to the condition that time limit, read this line, subject to the condition that time limit to avail the ITC in respect to the invoice 16.4 has not already been expired on the date of cancellation. Now tell me, who will explain this point to me in short? Please raise your hand and then tell me who can explain this point 16.6 wala point again to me by speaking. You just raise your hand, unmute yourself and then try to explain in short. First name is Ankit. Would you be able to answer? Ankit, Sanjay, Yogesh Chetra, Samyanathan. Who will explain in short 16.6 wala point in your own language? No one? Okay. Do one thing, write in the chat. What is the Ankit? Ankit has given the, Ankit has raised your hand. Nice. Ankit, unmute yourself and then explain.
Okay, sir. Good morning, sir.
Very good morning, Beta.
So, 16.4 talks about the ITC cannot be see ITC can be availed up to 30th November of previous financial year. So, as per 16.6, date of if whatever is the invoice date from and that GST ITC is cancelled. So, till the date of revocation, ITC should not be like as per 16.4, it should not be expired. The 16.4 time should not expire.
Correct.
Then only we can avail ITC.
Correct.
After the revocation, whatever the revocation date, from that date, within 30 days, if ITC has been availed, then we can avail.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Beta. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So what is the conclusion? What is the conclusion? See, they are talking about order of cancellation. They are talking about order of revocation. They are talking about 30 days. The date when the order of cancellation was passed, then you are entitled to take some of ITC. You are entitled to take some ITC which was not lapsed as per 16.4. Entitled. Now you become disentitled as per 16.4 because the time limit is already being covered in somewhere in between. 16.6 says that from the order of revocation, if you furnish the return within 30 days, then whatever the ITC you have, you are entitled to claim that. Is it clear? I hope it is clear to all. एक बार confirm करना quickly chat पर. That is a very nice provision, I can say.
Sir, I have a query, sir. Suppose अभी ऑर्डर ऑफ कैंसिलेशन के पहले के जो आईटीसी है, सपोज मैंने कोई एक बिल का आईटीसी नहीं लिया, ऑर्डर ऑफ कैंसिलेशन के पहले के,
ठीक है,
तो वो आईटीसी तो क्लेम नहीं कर पाएंगे ना सर इसमें? सपोज मैंने वो आईटीसी नहीं लिया था, फिर मेरा कैंसिल हो गया, हेलो,
आपका कैंसिल कब हुआ?
बाद में हुआ। सपोज अप्रैल महीने का मेरा कोई आईटीसी था, मेरे सपोज जून
अप्रैल
महीने
दो,
में
जस्ट एक है ना एग्जांपल में ईयर ऐड कर दो, जस्ट ऐड ईयर, अप्रैल 2000।
ठीक है, सपोज फरवरी 24 का मेरा आईटीसी था सर। मैंने है ना नहीं, मार्च में एक्चुअली ले सकता था, लेकिन मैंने लिया नहीं। वो मेरा है ना नहीं अप्रैल में कैंसिल हो गया नेक्स्ट महीने में। तो मैं जो ये आईटीसी तो है, कैंसिलेशन के बाद के आईटीसी क्लेम कर सकते हैं ना?
नहीं 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 नहीं, कैंसिलेशन के बाद की आईटीसी की बात नहीं करना। कैंस कोई सा भी आईटीसी जो डेट ऑफ कैंसिलेशन है उस दिन आप एंटाइटल थे। सो
ओके।
मैं क्या कह रहा हूं, वेरी नाइस क्वेश्चन। अगेन आई लाइक टू इटरेट टू ऑल ऑफ यू, आई लाइक टू हाईलाइट टू ऑल ऑफ यू। अगेन लेट मी वन वन मिनट, एक मिनट देना। डेट ऑफ कैंसिलेशन ऑफ मतलब ऑर्डर ऑफ डेट ऑफ कैंसिलेशन, देन रिवोकेशन। सो कौन, अंकित कौन बात कर रहे हैं? अंकित जस्ट रेज योर हैंड। अभी जो
योगेश सर।
योगेश,
योगेश।
इस प्रोविजन में क्या वो इस पीरियड की बात कर रहे हैं? नहीं, वो इस पीरियड की बात नहीं कर रहे। वो कह रहे जो भी आईटीसी एंटाइटल था इस तारीख को।
ओके सर।
जो भी आईटीसी एंटाइटल था इस तारीख को, बट आप ले नहीं पाते बिकॉज आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन का स्टेटस कैंसिल है। देयरफॉर यू वुड बी एंटाइटल विद इन 30 डेज। कौन सा आईटीसी है ये? वो वाला आईटीसी जो यहां पर तो आपका 16/4 ओके था, बट यहां पर आपका लैप्स हो गया 16/4। तो जो भी एंटाइटलमेंट इस तारीख को था, आपको इस दिन सेम एंटाइटलमेंट वापस मिल जाएगा फॉर ओल्डर आईटीसी प्रायर टू द डेट ऑफ कैंसिलेशन।
ठीक है सर।
ठीक।
सर तो अभी कैंसिल हो गया, तो इसका मतलब वो धंधा तो बंद करके नहीं बैठेगा। टिल द
बिल्कुल
रिवोकेशन ही विल नॉट क्लोज हिज बिजनेस एंड फिट। तो वो
राइट।
आईटीसी का वो आईटीसी का क्या होगा जो बीच में कैंसिलेशन करेगा रहेगा, उस
सेक्शन
आईटीसी
18,
का क्या
एक बार
करेगा?
हम जब सेक्शन 18 पर पहुंच जाएंगे ना,
ओके सर।
then we will discuss probably, matlab I will do the interlinking of section 18 with the rules and then I will give the answer, but in the coming days, not today.
ओके सर, ठीक है।
Just allow me 1 minute, meanwhile if you have any question you please ask. एक मिनट देना मेरे को। I request if you can explain, now we have done a lot of discussion, could you please explain in short whatever we had the discussion? एक बार मुझे शॉर्ट में बता इन चैट। You have confirmed ITC of the period as on the date in case the ITC can be claimed up to 31st August, date of the cancellation order received on 1st Feb upon filing return from the 1st Feb 25. हाँ हाँ, correct. Now the question of Yogesh is very nice question. but that I will not answer right now. We will discuss. Let me reach to the section 18 and then some more provision. But that question we will keep pending. ITC for the period from August to the 1st February in your example. Yes, very nice, Sanjay. Very nice. In short, but you have explained all you have explained. Very nice. Okay. So let me read all the analysis that we have in our study material with respect to 16.2. So that mold dies provided by the OEM, original equipment manufacturer, to the component manufacturer on FOC basis when not considered as being in the course or furtherance of business. Mold dies owned by the OEM, which are provided to the component manufacturer, the two not being related person or distinct person, on free of cost basis, does not constitute the supply as there is no consideration involved. So if I am the manufacturing company, I have provided some of the mold dies to my component manufacturer on FOC basis. Will that be supply? Answer is, for any transaction to constitute the supply, there has to be the two important elements. What are the two important elements? The transaction should be in the course or furtherance of business. And second, there has to be the consideration. Because it is being provided free, there cannot be any consideration. Considering that, it cannot be the supply. There is no requirement for reversal of ITC. That is okay. However, where the contract between OEM and component manufacturer is for supply of the component made by using the mold dies belonging to the component manufacturer, but the same have been supplied by the OEM to the component manufacturer. Now they are saying contract between me and my manufacturer, that the responsibility of the mold dies rigs fixtures, it is the responsibility of the component manufacturer only. But I have provided the same on FOC basis. The OEM will be required to reverse the ITC, as the same will not be considered to be provided by OEM in the course or furtherance of business, which you can read in the circular 47. Because if I am providing the free of cost, then as per the contract, this would be the responsibility of my component manufacturer, not mine. If it is not my responsibility, then I cannot provide on FOC basis. But still, if I'm providing on FOC, then it will be the reversal of ITC to me. Is that clear? See, I am the company, and my component is being manufactured or by some of the component manufacturer. Normally, as per the contract, it will be decided who will provide the mold dies. If it is my responsibility, okay, and I have provided free of cost, no problem. It is treated in the course or furtherance of business. No reversal of ITC. But if the contract between which parties? Can you tell me contract between which parties? किस दो पार्टी के बीच के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का डिस्कशन हो रहा है? Yogesh right. Yogesh right. That is the being practice which can be adopted to other better tax planning. OEM, original equipment manufacturer, and component manufacturer, इन दो के बीच में बात हो रही है, right? And if it is the responsibility of that component manufacturer, then I am providing the component to him. It is attract the reversal of ITC in my hand. क्योंकि इन सब केस में क्या होता है, जब कंपनियां छोटी होती है ना, where it can be manageable. But like think about the companies like Dell, HP. then in that case, everything would be, everything cannot be managed. Whatever the actual terms and condition, that will be mentioned in the agreement. Just because the ITC take the benefit of the tax, then they will not modify the agreement. But yes, if it is possible, I will go by this clause that can modify the agreement, then if it is advisable. Condition for taking the ITC, we were talking about 16 to talking about some of the document. Now rule 36(1), there has to be the tax invoice or debit note or any other tax paying document. What is being mentioned in the tax paying document? First, invoice or revised invoice issued by the supplier. Concept of revised invoice we will discuss in the chapter 9. Invoice issued by the recipient in case of RCM. Quickly give me the answer. I have discussed in the earlier classes also, but this point is I'm always asking. Supplier is registered, supplier is unregistered. Supplier is registered or unregistered, and recipient is obviously registered. If it is 9(3), in which case, sorry, let's say self invoice and payment voucher. 1, 2, 3, 4. First talk about self invoice. In which case it will be yes, in which case it will be no. You have to write yes, no for 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. This is my basic, I can say the chart for the RCM chapter. Oh, Yogesh has given the answer. Sanjay has given the answer. Very nice. Ankit has also given the answer. Very nice. So in all cases, yes, except one, this will be no. This will be no. Thank you. This will be no, and everything will be yes. It means if the supplier is registered, then only self invoice not required. Correct. What is the relevance of self invoice? What is the relevance of self invoice? What is the benefit of the self invoice? Statutory क्या benefit है? If you like to take the ITC of reverse charge, RCM का ITC would be entitled, absolutely correct, Yogesh, Saminathan and that Sanjay. ITC of RCM would be entitled if you have the self invoice. But it says that subject to payment of tax. If I only prepared the invoice, will I be entitled to take ITC? No. In case of RCM, you have to make the payment as well. In case of RCM, entitlement of RCM, you have to make the payment of taxes, correct? Debit note issued by the supplier. Okay, bill of entry. Similar document prescribed under custom. Like at the time of the revision of bill of entry, there is a concept of upward revision of bill of entry, downward revision of bill of entry. They will make some document. They will make the payment through TR6 challan. In those cases, you are entitled to take the ITC on the basis of any document which is being prescribed in the custom. Document issued by ISD. Correct. So ISD invoice. The document on the basis of which ITC is being taken should contain at least following details. Rule 36 sub rule 2 says that these 5 things has to be there on the invoice issued by the supplier. What is the 5 things? Amount of the tax, description of the goods or service, total value, GSTIN and POS. Remember 5 things: tax, description, value, GSTIN and POS. Rule 36 sub rule 3 says that if there is any fraud, willful misstatement, suppression of the fact under section 74, ITC cannot be availed. Tax paid in pursuance of any order where any demand has been confirmed on account of any fraud, willful misstatement, or suppression of the fact under section 74 cannot, that ITC cannot be availed. Details of invoice uploaded by the supplier in the R1 or IFF and details communicated in the 2B. Details of invoice or debit note uploaded by the supplier in the GSTR1 or IFF and details communicated in 2B. ITC in respect of any supply of goods or services or both can be taken by a registered person only if detail of invoice or debit note has been furnished by the supplier in the GSTR1 as amended in the GSTR1A or IFF, and such detail have been communicated to the recipient. And why they've used the form 2B? Because of the rule 36.4. Do you know that what is the difference R1, R1A and IFF, etc.? Have you any basic idea? QRMP, etc.
IFF is for quarterly returns. जो लोग quarterly return करते हैं वो लोग monthly अपने bills upload
Correct.
कर सकते हैं, there will be payment tax quarterly में होगा.
Fine.
GSTR one ने है after filing GSTR 1 and before GSTR 3B, if you want to change any GSTR 1, then we can file GSTR 1A.
Fine. Tell answer. All are requested to give the answer in the chat. Suppose in the month of October 25, I have added invoice of last year 24-25. Will my recipient be entitled to take ITC? Just tell me yes or no. Invoice of 24-25 added in the GSTR1 of October 25 and furnished on 11th November 25. Will my recipient be entitled to take ITC or not? Just asking this question. Yes, okay. Now question number two. Question number two. This document was amended, let's say upward amended through GSTR 1A of October, which is furnished on 12th of November. Whether my recipient would be entitled to take ITC of the differential amount. Let's say original amount was 100 and then it has been made to the 120. Will my recipient be entitled to take the ITC of 20 rupees or not? The document was for the GST one was furnished on 12th of November, just immediately after 1 day. He is monthly taxpayer. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. Fine. Let me talk about this question only, and by which I will try to clarify one important point. GSTR1 for October 25 month, filing date 11th November, invoice was 2425, ITC to recipient allowed. Let's say invoice value is rupees 100. Now the GSTR 1A of October 25 furnished on 12th of November. That same invoice was amended to rupees 120. Will the allowed of rupees 100, will the ITC be allowed for 20 rupees? This is my question. एक बार वापस आंसर दीजिए. You all tell me the answer once again. Will my recipient be entitled to take ITC of rupees 20? Tell me once again whether my recipient would be entitled to take ITC of rupees 20 or not. You all have given the answer earlier. Now I'm asking you to repeat. Once again, give the same answer. I think yes, it is within 16(4) provision. Okay, no problem. Great. Tell me one thing. ITC can be taken only when it is appear in the GSTR2B. Am I right? Is it right or wrong? ITC can be taken only when it is appear in the GSTR2B, right or wrong? Right. Now, can I say the recipient has to take the ITC in the GSTR3B max to max of October? उसके पास में आईटीसी लेने का टाइम लिमिट कब तक है? 24-25 का, जब वो 3B फाइल करेगा अक्टूबर की, एंड प्रोवाइडेड इट हैज टू बी फर्निश्ड बाय 30th नवंबर. लेट टू लेट कौन सी 3B है जिसमें वो आईटीसी ले सकता है 24-25 का? लेट टू लेट कौन से मंथ की 3B है जिसमें वो आईटीसी ले सकता है फॉर द 24-25? Do you agree with this? All are agreeing. Now tell me, when you take the ITC in the October GSTR 3B, whatever the ITC will appear in the GSTR 2B of October, that he can take ITC, whatever the ITC appearing in the GSTR 2B of October, he can take the ITC of that only. Whatever the ITC appearing in the GSTR 2B of October, he can take the ITC of that only. अच्छा, 2B of October कौन सी डेट को जनरेट होता है? On which date it is being generated? GSTR 2B of October 14th November. Now tell me, if he file the GSTR 1A for the month of October, will he goes to October 2B or November 2B? Will he goes to October 2B or November 2B? Will it goes to October 2B or November 2B? Very important question I'm asking. Oh my God. Fine, no problem. Always remember the GSTR 1A ka document will fall in next month 2B. Whatever the document you have added or furnished or amended in the GSTR 1A, it will goes to the next 2B, not to same and 2B. It means it will goes to November 2B, which would be generated on 14th December. Which would be generated on 14th December. Now, when the GSTR 2B, which is generated on 14th December, would it be entitled to take the ITC of rupees 20 for the recipient? क्या उसको 20 रुपए का ITC मिलेगा? Answer is no. Clear? I hope it is clear. हाँ, absolutely. Saman, yes, Samanathan. Because it will be in the November 2B, and November 2B would be generated on 20th of December, and by which I can say time limit of 16/4 has been expired. That is the reason he won't be entitled to take ITC. ठीक है ना? GSTR1 would be available to monthly taxpayer, and quarterly it will be GSTR1 after the end of the quarter. But if I'm a QRMP, quarterly return monthly payment, then I will file for M1 and M2 IFF. What is the benefit of IFF? Can I file? So first tell me what is the benefit of IFF? Allowing the recipient to take the ITC. Correct. IFF can be furnished after the due date. IFF can be furnished after the due date. Only point that it will goes to next month 2B. Is the statement correct? Whether statement is correct that IFF for M1 can be furnished after the due date, but the only problem that it will not go to the same 2B, it will go to the next 2B. Is the statement correct? Is this statement correct? IFF can be furnished after the due date of that 13th is the due date, right? M1 and M2. What is the due date? 13 of next month. Can the IFF be furnished after 13? Can the IFF be furnished after 13? Statement is correct. Answer the statement. Answer is no. IFF has to be furnished by the due date. It cannot be furnished after the due date. Absolutely correct. IFF can't be furnished after the due date. Now, so that is details of the ITC not restricted in section 38. Section 38 stipulates that details of the outward supply furnished by the supplier in R1 or R1A or IFF auto-generated statement to be containing the details of the ITC made available to the recipient. GSTR to be contain the details of inward supplies on which ITC is available to the recipient as well as on which ITC cannot be availed whether wholly or partly by the recipient. Accordingly, ITC will not be available in respect of inward supplies details of which has been furnished by the supplier. Try to understand the restriction in section 38. Which type of the restriction? Are they talking about block ITC? No. Let me go back. Let me go back and read that clause. Details of ITC in respect of the said supply communicated to the registered person has not been restricted. Not been restricted where? In 17.5? No, they are talking about 38. It means they are talking about some new category of the restriction. New category of the restriction. What are the restriction? Where supplier is a new registrant. Supplied specified period from taking the registration will be prescribed for this purpose. मतलब क्या हुआ? अगर सप्लायर न्यू रजिस्ट्रेंट है, नया टैक्स पेयर है, न्यू रजिस्ट्रेशन है, he cannot pass the ITC to the recipient. But for how many period? As of now, there is no rules which prescribed such restriction that it will be restricted for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever. It is not mentioned. So for the time being, the restriction is there in the section, but the period is not being prescribed. So effectively, I can say there is no restriction. Next, who has defaulted in payment of tax for a prescribed period? We'll talk about Rule 37A. Whose output tax payable as per the GSTR1 exceed the GSTR3B for a particular tax period by prescribed limit. So again, if it is being more than prescribed limit, Rule 88C, then also the ITC won't be available to my recipient. Same was availed the ITC exceed the credit that can be availed as per the 2B during the prescribed period of and by prescribed limit, and who has defaulted in discharging the tax liability in accordance with 4912 read with Rule 86B. So 86B talk about 1% liability has to be discharged in cash. Any other provision. So these are the restriction. Restriction on whom? To the recipient. When this restriction will be effective, please note, there is a big discussion, there is a big, I can say the doubt may arise. They are restricting the ITC of whom? Recipient. But restriction is based on the supplier default. Restriction is based on the supplier default. So it means if the supplier has not paid the proper tax in 3B, then my ITC would be restricted. If the supplier is the new registration, then my ITC would be restricted, provided there has to be some rule which talks about the period in which the ITC will not be available to recipient if the supplier is new. Defaulted in payment of tax, who? Myself? No, supplier. Who has defaulted the ITC has taken ITC more than 2B. Who? Supplier. Matlab supplier if not paying the tax properly, if not taking the ITC properly, if he is a new registrant, if he has not paid the tax minimum in the cash, whatever is required by law, if that is the case, then my ITC would be restricted. Is it clear? Clear? Fine. Let's take a break of another 10 minutes. Then we will resume at 9 o'clock. Let's take a break of 10 minutes. We will resume at 9 o'clock and then we'll further discuss. अशोक जी एक बार 10 मिनट का ब्रेक Rule 37A. What is the Rule 37A? If the tax payable corresponding to the ITC is not paid by the supplier, then ITC shall be reversed by the person along with interest. A is a supplier, B is a recipient. Try to understand one important point. When B take the ITC, he will have to satisfy the sixth condition of 16.2. Am I right? He will have to satisfy all the six conditions of 16.2. At the time of taking the ITC or in future? When he will need to satisfy the condition, at the time of taking the ITC or in the future? मीन्स ऐसा हो सकता है ना कि चल यार आज आईटीसी ले लेता हूं, कल परसों कभी भी कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई कर दूंगा, ऐसा पॉसिबल है? नहीं, पॉसिबल नहीं है. दिस इज नॉट पॉसिबल. व्हाट इज द रिक्वायरमेंट? Requirement would be at the time of taking. You should have the tax invoice at the time of invoice, at the time of ITC. Now you should have the tax invoice at the time of ITC. You should receive the goods or services at the time of ITC. But my dear friend, one important point, you can find some slight deviation. What is that? 16.2C. Supplier has to pay the taxes. Supplier has to pay the taxes. ये वाला जो कंडीशन है, ये वाला जो कंडीशन है, ये वाला कंडीशन पॉसिबल नहीं है एट द टाइम ऑफ टेकिंग द आईटीसी. Is it possible that you can identify whether supplier is paid or not? If tell me one thing, supplier has paid the taxes or not, can you identify from GSTR 2B? Just I'm asking, can you identify from GSTR 2B? No, not at all. Not possible at all. Is it possible that can you identify whether supplier has paid the taxes through GSTR 2B? No. How you will identify them? You tell me how you will identify them. This is the question to all of you. How you will identify whether supplier has paid the taxes or not? No. I'm asking only portal. He will never say no. Yogesh, he will never say no. Even if he has not paid, he will say, yes, I have paid, sir. Sanjay, communication kaise? How the communication? Now, there is no mechanism. There is no mechanism by which you can identify. I can say out of 100%, only small possibilities there. Out of entire 100%, you can identify only small possibility which is being captured by the Rule 37A. I'm talking about compliance of 16.2C is not possible considering the current structure of communication. Not possible. It is possible only in one situation, and that situation is being covered in Rule 37A. What is that, sir? I am your supplier. I am filing the GSTR 1 of March. Will it available in your 2B? Whenever you generate on 14th of next month. Whatever I have added in my GSTR 1, it will available in your GSTR 2B. Even if I have not filed 3B. Even if I have not filed 3B, तब भी आपके पास में आएगा कि नहीं आएगा? Will it come or not? I have not filed my 3B, but will it come in? Will it this invoices come in your 2B or not? It will come. It will come. Irrespective of the fact whether I have filed GSTR 3B or not, it will be communicated in 2B. Everyone is clear in this point? I hope this point is clear. There is no ambiguity. Now I'm saying I have not furnished my GSTR 3B for the month of the March. I am not furnished my GSTR 3B of the month of March, most probably I can say, that whatever the liability reported in R1 has not been paid by the supplier? Can I say that whatever the liability reported by the supplier is in R1 or R1A has not been paid? To that extent, can I say if my 3B is not being furnished at all? Do you agree with this? If my March R1 is filed, but March 3B is not filed at all, you can surely say that whatever the taxes I have reported in R1 has not been paid by the supplier. In none of the other situation, you cannot 100% say. Giving you one example. If my R1 has been filed for the month of the March, I have filed an L3B. Do you aware that how much tax I have paid in GSTR 3B? Are you sure that whether I have added your invoice in my 3B? Not. See, try to differentiate this point. If I have not filed 3B, you can surely say that I have not paid the taxes at all. But if I file 3B with lesser amount, I file 3B with nil amount, can you check through your portal that whatever liability I have reported, which liability I have paid? Answer is no, sir. I cannot say anything. I can't say anything. In that case, it is not being captured or controlled by the law, by the portal. Only this small portion where let me repeat, just small network problem. Let me repeat once again. Can I say that if my see, just now we have understood that 16.2 ka condition has to be satisfied at the time of taking the ITC? Yes or no? Sir, we all have confirmed that 16.2 ka condition has to be satisfied at the time of taking the ITC. Please confirm in the chat. Now I am deviating one point. 16.2C talks about 16.2C talks about किस condition की बात करता है 16.2C? Which condition is being covered in the 16.2C? Last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, please do not miss the opportunity to revise the entire chapter. Please do not miss the revision in the last 10 minutes. Supplier has to pay the liability. Now this part is not to be satisfied at the time of taking the ITC. बात ध्यान रखिए, मैं बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात कह रहा हूं. I'm saying that section 16.2C not to be satisfied at the time of taking the ITC. Rule 37A says that you can satisfy till November following the end of the financial year. I am removing November and writing September. Rule 37A says that 16.2C, not exactly it says that 16.2C. What is the rule 37A? It says that if corresponding R1 has been filed, but GSTR 3B not filed for previous financial year, Yeah, for financial year. GSTR 3B, in my example, March 24 GSTR 1 filed. GSTR 1 filed. March 24 GSTR 3B not filed. My March 24 GSTR 3B not filed. Then Rule 37 say till 30th September. Till 30th September 2025. If it is not filed, then you being a recipient, need to reverse the ITC by 30th November 2025 without interest, and after 30th November with interest. Is this point clear? Is this point clear to all? This point says that if the 3B is not filed, then it has. Can the recipient take the ITC if the corresponding 3B is not filed? Can he take the ITC if the 3B is not filed? Yes, he can take the ITC. But till what period he can retain that ITC? He can retain that ITC. He has to check 3B filed or not till 30th September. If 30th September not filed, then recipient need to reverse by 30th November without interest, and after that with interest. Is this point clear? Very important point. Is this point clear? If it is clear, then what would be ROI? After 30th November. After 30th November, you mean to say, Sanjay? The rate of interest is 18%. Rate of interest, whether it is ITC, whether it is tax, now both are same. There was a retrospective amendment for 50 subsection 3. So by which I can say whether interest is because of tax liability not paid or ITC wrongly availed. You need to reverse along with interest. Whenever the interest will come, there is no doubt about rate because it is 18%. Now, Samyanathan, you have asked now what is the use of the GSTR 2A? You have asked what is the use of GSTR 2A, right? This is the use. In my understanding, GSTR 2B does not contain the column, the status of GSTR 3B, but the GSTR 2A has the column, the filing status of 3B. And that is where the 2A, actual 2A ka use comes into the picture for Rule 37A, to the extent of Rule 37A. Is it clear? This point is clear? Finally, you got the answer, right? Now this answer would also be for the limited time. Now this answer would be also for the limited time. Now why I am saying you? Reason I am saying you. This answer 2A, use of the 2A for Rule 37 is for the limited time. Why? Because the GSTR 2B ka format has been amended. GSTR 2B ka format has been amended. New table called reversal of ITC for 37A has been inserted. So in future, not as of now. So I'm saying as of now, the use of the GSTR 2A, but in future, that reversal as per the Rule 37A will also be incorporated in GSTR 2B. मैंने सारे एंगल बता दिए. What is the use of current? What will be the future? This point is practical. This point is practical. Nothing to do with the exams. Nothing to do with the CA final. But I have to incorporate. I have to add the practical part as well to give the overall picture. Fine. Let's move to the further. So now I have completed section 16 in all angle. Okay. Let's move to the 617. देखते हैं कितना कर पाते हैं. Let's do the section 17. Just allow me 1 minute. First analysis will do. last 10 minutes, do not forget to stay. You have the experience that how we revise the chapter, right now. You all know that how we revise the chapter. So my humble point that please remain in the class till last 10 minutes would be very important, because last 10-15 minutes very important. Whatever we had that discussion, we will be able to revise the entire thing. Correct, no? And you all are enjoying that. You have confirmed in the previous classes. Now let's move to the further section 17, subsection 1, then subsection 2. 17.1 says that when the goods or services or both are used by the registered person partly for the purpose of any business, just wait for a minute. Just wait for a minute. I have forgotten to tell you the schedule 1. I have not discussed the rule 37. Let me discuss the rule 37. Okay. One point was short, one point was left. What is the rule 37? Let's read rule 37. Reversal of ITC in case of the non-payment of consideration. So reversal of ITC in case of the non-payment of consideration. What it says, a registered person who has availed the ITC on any inward supply other than the supply on which taxes payable on reverse charge but failed to make the payment to the supplier. We have discussed the amount toward the value of supply, whether wholly or partly. Yogesh, you have asked the question. Yogesh, I think you have asked the question. If part payment is being done, then what? Or Sanjay, who has asked the question? Correct, no? It says that whether wholly or partly along with the tax within the time limit specified in 16(2) ka proviso shall pay or reverse an amount to the ITC availed in respect of the supply, and word is proportionate. The proportionate word is giving the answer. The word proportionate is giving the answer. If I have made the part payment, then only to the extent I have not paid, I have to reverse that ITC. Is that clear? Partial reversal will be applicable here. Along with interest as per section 15, while furnishing the return in GSTR 3B for the tax period immediately following the period of 180 days. From the date of issue of invoice. Now the two provisos says that no requirement of reversal if it is a schedule 1 transaction. What is the schedule 1 transaction? Any one example, one or two example? Can you give me one or two example of schedule 1? Correct, Ankit. Correct, Yogesh. Right, Saminathan, without consideration. There are 4 entries, 4 para. Any one para? Any one para? Schedule 1 talks about supplies without consideration. Fully agree. Can you give me any one or two entries? Permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where ITC has been availed. Correct. Principal agent. Okay. Transaction between distinct person and related party. Correct. So it means I am head office and you are my branch. We both are having the same PAN. I have transferred the goods to you along with tax invoice. Will you take the ITC? Will you take the ITC? Answer is yes. But is there any requirement that if you not paid within 180 days, then you need to reverse the ITC? Do you need to reverse the ITC if not paid within 180 days? अगर आप ब्रांच ने एचओ को पेमेंट नहीं किया विद इन 180 days, इन दैट केस no reversal is required. Why? Because of the proviso. Proviso says that transactions covered in schedule 1 shall be deemed to have been paid. It means whatever the transactions are there in the schedule 1, there are the 4 entry: import, principal agent, distinct person, related party, permanent transfer, disposal, business asset. In all the 4 entries, if the amount is not paid, then also no requirement of reversal of ITC. Where it is written? It is written in the Rule 37. And this part is already been covered in the valuation chapter. See, something is being, so you have made some payment, there is some liability of the supplier, and you have incurred that liability, and that amount has been excluded from the invoice. Then what is the 15.2 says? 15.2 says that it will be added in the invoice. But to that extent, amount which you have already paid on behalf of supplier, which is added in the invoice, will you pay again that amount to the supplier? Will you pay that amount again to the supplier? No, you will not pay. Therefore, this has been added in the proviso, that the two proviso, if there is applicability of the rule schedule 1, second, if applicability of the schedule 1, second, payment not required to be paid as per the 15 subsection 2 clause B. Matlab, to the extent you have already paid the liability of the supplier and that amount has been excluded from the invoice. 15.2b says that please add the amount in the invoice. So your taxable value would increase, but your payment will never be that for the portion which has been added, because you have already paid to any other person on behalf of supplier. So therefore, there is no requirement of payment. Is that clear? This part was missed, so I have discussed now. ठीक है, अभी आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now let's move to the very interesting. Section 17 is very interesting. Apportionment of the credit and block credit. It has been divided in two parts. Apportionment of the credit means you are, whatever the ITC is there, you're required to apportion. Why there's a requirement of apportion, that we will discuss in the provisions. And then block credit. So when the goods or services or both used by the registered person partly for any business and partly for other purpose. So this section says that partly for business and partly for other, the amount of the credit shall be restricted to the ITC which is attributable to the business purpose. अगर मैं कोई ITC ले रहा हूं, let's say this is my building, I have taken on rent, and in the morning I am giving this building to some NGO for doing the yoga activity for the elder person. I'm giving free of cost. I'm not charging any rent. In the evening, because there's a big playground, in the evening I'm giving to the small kid NGO who bring their children to play in that ground. I'm not charging. So are my rent, which is for the entire building, is being used only for the business activity? No. I can say in the morning yoga task, in the evening playing is not being related to my business at all. It is other than business. So it says that if any goods or service are being used partly for the business and partly for the other, then you are allowed to take the credit to the extent it is attributable to the business. You are allowed to take to the extent it is used for the purpose of business. Is it clear? It means if you are using for other than business, you need to reverse the ITC. How you need to reverse the ITC, that answer will be given by the rules. That we will discuss in the next or subsequent class. My only point that ITC need to be reversed. You are entitled to take the ITC only to the extent of business. When the goods or service both are used by the registered person partly for taxable supplies and partly for exempt supply, then amount of the credit shall be restricted to the input tax attributable to the said taxable supply, including zero rated. Where the goods or service or both are used by the registered person partly for effecting taxable supplies, including zero rated under the IGST Act, CGST Act, and partly for exempt supply. It means I am taking certain ITC and my outward supply is taxable as well as exempted. I will be restricted to take the ITC to the extent of taxable supplies, including zero rated. Do I need to reverse the ITC if I am having the export under LUT? Do I need to reverse the ITC because export under LUT does not require the payment of taxes? Do I need to reverse the ITC because of zero rated supplies made under LUT? क्या मुझे आईटीसी रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा अगर मैं एक्सपोर्ट कर रहा हूं अंडर एलयूटी? आंसर इज नो. व्हाई नो? बिकॉज इट सेज दैट यू आर allowed to take the ITC which is attributable to taxable supply or attributable to zero rated supplies. Whether export is zero rated, whether export is zero rated, whether all SEZ supplies are zero rated, whether Saminathan, zero rated means what? You give me the answer. What is the meaning of zero rated? There are only two supplies which are zero rated. Tell me which are zero rated. Export are zero rated. Saminathan, you are bringing the foreign currency. See, government are always motivating the export or demotivating the export. Government will always motivate the export. Government will always motivate the export, right? Because they are motivating the export, so they will give all the benefit. If they will give, they have to give the benefit. Therefore, they are saying no reversal of ITC. Because if the reversal will happen, then there will be effectively loss to do the export. अगर मुझे ITC reverse करना पड़ेगा, then why I will do the export? I will not do my goods as export because I need to reverse the ITC. Had it be, then it will demotivate the export. So therefore, they have given the benefit. Clear? Is it clear? Section 54 allows us to take the refund. Section 54 allows us to take the refund. Read with Rule 89. Section 54, read with Rule 89, allows us to take the benefit of the refund of zero rated supplies made under LUT. So I am not paying any taxes, but I can take the ITC refund of accumulated ITC. I can take the refund of accumulated ITC 54 subsection 3. क्लियर है ना? ये वाला बात क्लियर है? when the goods or service both are used by the registered person partly for effecting taxable supplies, partly for exempt supplies, then credit shall be restricted to the extent of taxable supplies, and zero rated supplies are being considered as taxable supply for the purpose of 17.2. 17.3. Very important. Value of the exempt supply under subsection 2. Value of the exempt supply under subsection 2 shall be such as may be prescribed and shall include the supplies on which recipient is liable to pay the tax on reverse charge basis. Value of the exempt supply shall be such as may be prescribed and shall include supplies on which the recipient is liable to pay the tax on reverse charge basis. Transaction in security sale of land and subject to the clause B, para 2, schedule, para 5, schedule 2, sale of building. So whatever it is being prescribed, that is exempt supply. In addition to that will include. Can I say that 17.3 has widened the scope of exempt supply? See, whatever it is being prescribed, that is exempt supply. Apart from that, they are adding some more transactions in the exempt supply. What are the transactions? First, outward supplies on which I will not pay the tax, my recipient will pay the tax, means covered under RCM. So it will be treated as exempt supply in the hand of supplier. Transaction in securities. If I'm doing the transaction security, then yes, I need to reverse the ITC. Sale of land. So if I am selling the land and complete subject to the clause B, para 2, schedule 2, under construction building, nahi, completed building. So if I'm selling the completed building, will I pay the GST on that? Answer is no. If I'm selling the land, will I pay the GST or no? No. But that will be added. That will be added in the value of exempt supply. Explanation says that schedule 3. Read the explanation, give me the answer. Read the explanation and give me the answer. Whether schedule 3 is considered as exempt supply, will be added or it will not be added. Just read the explanation. This is the only reading you need to do and give me the answer to the question, will the schedule 3 attract the reversal or not? So my question is, for the purpose of this subsection, the value of exempt supply shall. So क्या आंसर दिया आपने? ओके, मेरा क्वेश्चन बड़ा सिंपल है. If I have the sale or if I have the supply of schedule 3, will it be added in the exempt supply or not? First question. Will it be added in the exempt supply or not? Okay. They have given the exception to the para 5 and para 8. My question to all of you, whether para 5 will be added as an exempt supply or not added as an exempt supply, just I'm asking. Whether para 5 will be considered as exempt supply or not considered as exempt supply. Will it be added or not? Just give me the answer in the chat. Requesting to give the answer in the chat. Oh, Okay. Okay, fine. For my understanding that it is clear to you, please give one more answer. Whether para 5 and para 8A, apart from these two entry, all other transactions of schedule 3, apart from these two entry, all other transaction of schedule 3, will it be added in exempt supply or will it not be added in the exempt supply? Okay. Fine. Saminathan, you are having one different answer from others. Now, let me read. And you will get the answer. For the purpose of this subsection, the expression value of the exempt supply shall not include schedule 3. What does it mean? Except these two para. It means only these two para will be added and normally the schedule 3 will not be added. What is the meaning interpretation? It says that schedule 3 shall not include the value of the activity or the transaction in the schedule 3. So schedule 3 में जो भी activity या transaction है, it will not be added in the exempt supply except these two. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? Para 5 and para 8A will be added and rest will not be added. Is it clear, Saminathan? Because you are only having the different view. And also Manish and everyone, please confirm. Is it clear? Is it clear to all? Key schedule 3 will not be added except these two entry will be added in the exempt supply. What is the para 8A? The para 8A. Can anybody tell me what is the para 8A? Anybody would having any idea about the clause A of the para 8? What is the para 8 clause A? No idea? Kindly spend 2 minutes, go to the schedule 3, read the para 8A, then give me the answer. This is your, let's say, work during the class only. You just read the schedule 3, read the para 8 clause A, and then give me the answer in the chat. It will take hardly 1 or 2 minutes. Supply of the warehouse goods to any person before clearance for the home consumption. Would you require to pay any GST on the schedule 3? Do you need to pay any GST on the schedule 3 item? Do you require to pay any GST on the schedule 3 item? No. But if you have the para 8A, if you have the para 5, if you have the para 8A and para 5, then ITC need to be reversed or not? ITC need to be reversed or not? If you have the entry If you have the supply of the para 5 or para 8A, then you need to reverse the proportionate ITC. That's it. Otherwise, no requirement of reversal of ITC. Correct? Now, the last part for today class that we will read the 17 subsection 4, which talks about that a banking company or financial institution or NBFC engage in the supply of the service by way of the accepting deposit, extend the loans, shall have the option to either comply with the 17 subsection 2. It means they will calculate the value of the exempt supply, taxable supply, and whatever the rules are there, rule 42, 43, then they will follow the reversal according to that, or avail of every month an amount equal to 50% of eligible ITC. It means he is required to avail the ITC only to the extent of 50% on input, capital goods and input service, and rest will be lapse. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ, जो बाकी बैलेंस 50% है, that will be reversed and 50% it will be entitled. It says that once option is exercised, it will not be withdrawn during the remaining part of the financial year. Whenever you are exercising that option, it means you have to remain in that, you cannot reverse. Provided further that restriction of the 50% shall not apply, 50% reversal will not apply, provided that the restriction of 50% shall not apply where taxes paid on the supply made by one registered person to the another registered person having the same PAN. It means in the distinct person, you are not required to reverse the ITC. I am ICICI Bank Delhi and I am ICICI Bank Mumbai. Whatever the tax invoice raised by Delhi to Mumbai in between, there is no requirement of reversal of ITC of 50%. Ankit, nil rated, exempted, non-GST, all these will be part of the exempt supply. But only the zero rated. So differentiate between the nil rated and zero rated. The nil rated is no GST. Exempted, see, when you read the definition of the exempt supply, go to the definition of the exempt supply. Let me go to the definition of exempt supply. If you read the exempt supply, means which attract nil rate, which are wholly exempted from by notification or non-taxable supplies. Whenever I say the exempt supply means there are three limbs of exempt supply. First, nil rated supply. Second, exempted by way of notification. Third, non-taxable supplies. Is it clear? Ankit, I hope it is clear. ठीक है, बहुत बढ़िया क्वेश्चन है. This always create a confusion whether nil rated would be exempted, whether non-taxable supply is an exempt supply or not. Yes, it is an exempt supply because the definition of exempt supply include non-taxable supplies. What is the non-taxable supply? Alcoholic liquor for human consumptions, ENA, ethyl neutrical alcohol, which is used for alcoholic liquor, ENA, which is now being added in the 9 subsection 1, and then third is petrol. These are the non-taxable supplies. Correct, but for the purpose of calculation of exempt supply, it will be added. Fine. Is that okay?
Sir, I have a query, sir.
Please ask.
अभी सितंबर 22 से रेट चेंज हो रहे हैं ना सर, जीएसटी के रेट चेंज हो रहे हैं.
September 22 से रेट चेंज हो रहे हैं, राइट?
राइट सर. तो पहले अभी सपोज 12% में था, तो उसने परचेज किया है. ओके, सो ही हैज अवेल्ड आईटीसी ऑन दैट. अभी जब सितंबर 22 से सपोज वो सप्लाई वो एग्जम्प्ट हो गया, तो उसे रिवर्सल करना पड़ेगा सर वो आईटीसी को.
18 सबसेक्शन 4 जब पढ़ेंगे ना, 18 सबसेक्शन 4, इसमें आपके क्वेश्चन का आंसर है हाँ. बट टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन, यस, ही नीड टू रिवर्स द आईटीसी.
तो सर इट इज ए लॉस टू द परचेज करने वाले को लॉस होगा ना सर उसमें. तो
करेक्ट. It is a
मैंने
loss.
इट इज अ लॉस. तो प्राइस ऑफ द गुड्स एट द एंड ऑफ द डे जितना भी स्टॉक है उसके पास वो कम नहीं कर सकता है. ही विल बी डायरेक्टली चार्जिंग द कंज्यूमर एट द एंड ऑफ द डे. वो खुद क्यों लॉस बेयर करेगा.
Correct. Very true. So there could be some tax planning in that. I am not talking about, but otherwise, if I will read the 18 subsection 4, it says if my supply become exempted, then I need to reverse my ITC.
ओके.
Any other question? Otherwise, we will start the 5 round of the question answer, which we normally say. Fine. So let's move further. Start करें 5 round of the question answer. All are ready? सब ready है ना? चलो सर start करते हैं. I hope you all will enjoy. If I am not receiving the goods actually, still I am entitled to take the ITC. When? If I am not receiving the goods physically, but still I am entitled to take the ITC. When? If I am not receiving the goods physically, is there any provision to receive? It will be deemed. What is the deeming provision? Even if I have not received the goods, but it will be deemed that I have received the goods. Even if I am not receiving the goods physically, actually, but provision says that it will be deemed that you have received the goods. It is bill to ship to model. It is bill to ship to model. Can the bill to ship to model is possible for services? Can the bill to ship to model is possible for services, Manish? Answer is yes. Probably you have joined late today, so you may read that, you may check the video again. That, but yes, answer is yes, because explanation 2 for the section 16.2 has been inserted only for bill to ship to model for services. Okay, Manish, just check the recording of this particular class. You will find the answer. So clause A says that you should have the tax invoice or any other tax paying document. Can you give me any one name of tax paying document other than invoice and debit note? Fine. What is the benefit of the self invoice? To claim the ITC. Absolutely correct. Can I claim the ITC of RCM just because of self invoice, or any other point I have to take care? Can I claim the ITC only on the basis of self invoice or any other restrictions? Answer is yes. Any other restriction is there, I need to pay the taxage. So there are two conditions. Will the self invoice be applicable if supplier is registered? Will the self invoice be applicable if the supplier is registered? No. Correct answer is no, not applicable. Correct answer is no, not applicable. Correct. I'm asking the random question, which whatever it comes to my mind. Earlier I thought that I will go by sequentially, but now I'm asking randomly, whatever comes to my mind. If ITC on the capital goods is nowhere restricted, can I take the ITC and depreciation both at the same time? Fine. Let me ask the same question but in different manner. Let me ask the same question but in the different manner. My taxable value is 1000. My tax is 100 rupees. Total value is 1100. Can I claim the ITC of 100 and take the depreciation on 1000? Can I claim the ITC of 100? Take the depreciation of 1000. Both are okay. Answer is yes. It is allowed. Manish, answer is yes, it is allowed. 16 subsection 3 only says that whatever the ITC you are claiming, on that ITC you should not claim the depreciation. Taxable value, I can claim the depreciation. Again, that have been discussed in the recording. You can check the recorded classes. Probably it will be beneficial to you. It is my request to all the participants. Bring whatever you have, whomsoever you know, appearing in the CA final. Please bring, because this discussion will help a lot. जो हम discussion कर रहे हैं ना, ये बहुत help करेगा in your examinations. So Manish, try to join the class at sharp 7 o'clock. Everyone, like all other participants, are joined and is still there for the entire class. So my same request to you, and bring my request to all the participants: Yogesh, Manish, Ankit, Chitra, everyone. Please bring your friends. जितने ज्यादा पार्टिसिपेंट होंगे उतना ज्यादा मजा आएगा. We will enjoy if we have the larger amount of the participants. Correct? Going back to the discussion, going back to the question. There are 5 things has to be there on tax invoice in order to claim the ITC. Can you tell me what are the 5 things on the tax invoice? Tax invoice serial number. Okay, Manish, invoice number. You mean to say invoice number? Okay. Okay. You tell me. 5 things has to be there on the tax invoice in order to claim the ITC. Sanjay, Samyanathan, same request to you. Bring your friends. Ankit, Manish, bring your friends. In the next class, we are having the next class on Sunday. Total 5 classes are being allocated for the ITC. Big chapter, important. HSN code is required? No, not required. Not required. What is being required? It is being written in the rule 36 sub rule 2. There has to be the 5 things: invoice, pay, description होना चाहिए, GSTIN number, description, GSTIN number, place of the supply, value, amount, GST number, description, total value, and place of the supply. Yogesh, very nice. Chitra, very nice. Manish, you have attempted very well. Sanjay, Samyanathan, and everyone. Bill of entry in case of import, that is being prescribed in the rule 30 tax paying document or any other document. It is being prescribed in rule 36 sub rule 1. I am talking about on this document 5 things has to be there. Whatever it is being written, it is being written on the rule 36.2, which I am talking about. If someone has paid the taxes, fraud, willful misstatement of section 74, will he be entitled to take ITC? No, obviously no. What is the last day to claim the ITC? Only 30th November? Or any other things I have to add? Samyanathan, please confirm this annual return means filing of annual return or due date of annual return? Filing of annual return. So the two conditions 16.4 says that 30th November or annual return, whichever is earlier. ITC has to be claimed by the recipient. Filing of GSTR 3B is one of the condition. This condition is for recipient or for supplier? Please complete this chart. So I'm making the question by the chart. I'm trying to add few question. Comparison of the rule 37 and 37A. So you tell me, which payment are being talked about in the Rule 37A? Which payment are being talked about in Rule 37 and which payment are being talked about in Rule 37A? Taxable value, tax, or invoice value? Give me the answer. In Rule 37, you are saying invoice value. In Rule 37, you are saying invoice value. And in Rule 37A, in Rule 37A, tax amount. Very nice, beta. Very nice. Invoice amount. Tax amount. Payment by which party to which party, to whom, is being discussed. Payment by recipient to supplier, supplier to government, government to supplier. Which payment are being considered? Which party to which party? Like B to A, we have discussed now. किस पार्टी ने किस पार्टी को पेमेंट नहीं किया तो रूल 37 एप्लीकेबल होगा. Recipient to, my God, wow, supplier to government. Very nice. Time limit. Time limit. What is the time limit is being prescribed? Time limit. Is there any time? Yes. 180 days. What is the time limit here? What is the time limit here? 30th September of same financial year or next financial year? Next financial year. What is the interest ka applicability? What is the interest ka applicability? No, I'm not talking about rate. When the interest would be applicable in the Rule 37 and in the Rule 37A? When the interest would be applicable? Will it always be applicable? I'm first answer Rule 37. Will it always be applicable? If payment not made within 180 days, then interest would be applicable. Will it always be applicable? Answer is yes, it will always be applicable. Can you tell me the period for which interest I need to pay? The date of invoice, date when the amount is being added in 3B. किस तारीख से स्टार्ट होगा? डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस से या डेट ऑफ क्लेमिंग इन 3B? Date of claiming in 3B. Correct. Now tell me, Rule 37A, whether always this reversal will attract the interest? Whether this always, or there is some relaxation, or is there any relaxation? No relaxation? No relaxation for Rule 37A? Correct. No, sir, relaxation is there. No interest. If reversal is done till, please complete the sentence, till which date? If the reversal is done till which date? Till 30th November following the end of the financial year. Otherwise, interest would be applicable. So section 17, I will not ask any question. So this chart will help a lot. Normally, see, can you tell me the situation where 180 days ka reversal is not applicable? Can you tell me 1, 2, 3, whatever the example, that where the 180 days ka reversal is not applicable? Even if I have not made the payment, then reversal is not applicable. Very nice, Manish. First is RCM. Yes, Yogesh. Schedule 1. Schedule 1 and last point. Can anybody tell me? Last point. Can anybody tell me? एक और point छूट गया हमसे. एक last point छूट गया. Can you please answer that? Can you please add that point? This is the last question. This is the last point from my side. Yes. Anybody can try? Anybody can try? Which point I have left? One point. There are 3 points I can say. The no reversal is applicable as per the 180 days, right, Sanjay? 15 subsection 2 clause B. 15 subsection 2 clause B. What is that? So valuation chapter, if amount is not added in the value, if the payment is made by the recipient to the supplier and to that extent amount is not added in the value, then it will increase the value as per 15 to B, but this increase will never require the payment because the recipient has already made the payment. Therefore, Rule 37 says no requirement to reverse to the extent of 15 to B. I hope it is clear. Any doubt? Any doubt? You may ask the question. From my side, the class is completed. If you have any doubt, you may ask the question. Section 16 we have covered from all angles. In the next class, we will start section 17. So 1, 2, 3 we have read, and we will start from 17. 4 also, slight to larger extent we have completed. When RCM is, why RCM ITC reversal not provided? Why RCM ITC reversal is not? Where? You can unmute, Samyanathan. You can unmute and ask your question. Samyanathan, अगर unmute कर सकते हैं तो better रहेगा. You are asking the question from for which provision? कौन से provision के reference में आपका ये question है? Why RCM ITC reversal not provided? Question clear नहीं है. It is not clear. Not clear. Suppose my outward supply is exempted, whether I have paid the taxes under normal charge to supplier or I have paid the taxes under RCM. अरे वो वाला सी नहीं अच्छा now the question is clear. You are asking reversal as per the rule 37. See, schedule 1 की taxability कब arise होती है? Even if there is no consideration. Schedule 1 का taxability would arise even if there is no consideration. Agreed? जब कंसिडरेशन ही नहीं है तो 180 डेज में पेमेंट कैसे होगा? अगर फ्री के ट्रांजेक्शन पर टैक्स लगाता है शेड्यूल 1, if the free transaction are being taxed by virtue of the schedule 1, then how the payment would come? Therefore, this 180 days ka reversal is not required. Is first point is clear? First point is clear. Second point, RCM, because you being a recipient directly paying to the government, you being a recipient directly paying to the government tax part, therefore they are saying not required, no reversal required, because you are paying directly to the government. It is not being routed through supplier. Therefore, they are not saying that. Therefore, they are saying RCM का reversal रहने दीजिए because you yourself has paid the taxes to the government and getting the benefit of the taxes. So we will not create any liability of reversal. Correct. They are sure. Correct. They are sure. They are sure that taxes, because you being a recipient directly paying to the government, therefore they are not attracting the reversal within 180 days wala clause. Clear? Both points are clear. Both point ना? RCM भी clear हुआ या is there any doubt? Mic is not working on laptop. I need to log in mobile to speak clear sir. ठीक है, no problem बेटा, no problem. समय तो next time make sure next time try कर लेना, अगर हो तो better रहेगा, क्योंकि communication अगर हम कर लें तो थोड़ा better तरीके से clarity हो जाएगी from all the angle. So fine. From my side, today class is completed. We will meet after 2 days, Sunday, same time. Thank you very much. Goodbye to all of you. Ashok ji, my side class completed. Thank you.